Welcome back to Horizon 2 Forbidden West Burning Shores 1.23 and my careful ultra hard let's play. I'm in Thornmarsh.
I will fight alongside you any day.
So we are past the Burning Shores. This is part of an epilogue because I want to talk to some of the people around here uh, that might have something new to say after Burning Shores. And I'm waiting for a bug fix for some of the things so that I can take all the trophies for that. And there are still more things I want to take the opportunity to talk about.
Honor and strength.
Lots of things. But let's first just see who we have around here to speak to.
If you're hurt, whatever brought you here, Easterner.
Greetings, Zenith.
Okay. Glad you came.
But you should know that I got some new pieces since we
The
last
Outlander
went
from the tool room.
Machine
Well,
strike
good thing I have a
anyone?
little something called
Let's
No.
play.
Not today.
Talk yourself up all you want. We'll settle this.
Good to Never thought I'd be grateful to an Outlander.
With our troubles eased, the Lowland clan can stand strong behind Hakara.
Walk with strength. May you crush your enemies.
Let's see, here is the hunter goods. Cook. There might be someone over there also. And then we can continue.
May your blade strike true.
Make way for Hikaru's champion.
How did she see me around the corner?
Welcome, champion.
Enemies submit.
Let's see, so this is the dyer. And here are... over here is the person whose father was had dementia. Let's see. That's the herbalist, dyer,
Don't mind.
painter, stitcher, and cook. This one, Tinalo. No, no, that's not that either.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so maybe we're not here.
Nope, not telling. I know what you're up to.
It's worth a shot.
Right then. I'm not going to talk to you.
As I was saying,
So there was no one more people here then.
lasting peace with the Karja. Then what?
Trade, maybe? Free passage over the borders?
I'm still skeptical about the peace with Karja.
Karja lands, those who burn them.
We shall seek out every last one of these holdouts.
I've heard there are lands beyond the Karjas, vastly different.
I told him you'd be true to me.
Alright, I'm going to continue to Tilda's base and see if we can find something about what Sylens has done. Right, so more things to talk about. Starting by one thing of the during the Burning Shores we found a lot of Brimshine, and the first time that Aloy found some part of it and collects it, she remarks on the strong order, and Brimshine is of course referring to brimstone. That's a word for sulfur, and sulfur has a very distinct smell, strong smell. So it's probably, you can find sulfur in crystalline forms, not quite as you see them in the Burning Shores, but it's probably inspired by that. I was thinking about it recently when I was referring to Hellfire and Brimstone. And so that's something that was specific for Burning Shores. And in the other places we have other types of crystals, like the blue gleam.
Plasma's not gonna hurt that thing much.
So the blue gleam was from a frozen wilds, and that's machine fluids that had been frozen and crystallized. Let's see. It's an apex climber jaw. This is a normal climber jaw. It's a bit hard to get through this passage. I'm don't need to make it that hard for me, so just go another way. Yeah, so we got the blue gleam, and then in the Forbidden West we have a green shine. That's crystallized blaze.
You can get a strong color out of this.
Alright. So more about what it is that I wanted to do with this Let's Play. I have mentioned a bit about the thing that I found so fascinating about the Horizon, and especially Zero Dawn, the world building, the terraforming system, and how everything made sense. Then in Forbidden West they seem to have switched focus to get a broader appeal for the game, and in that they sort of sacrificed some of the sense and introduced a lot more systems that doesn't make sense in the world as a whole, like that you actually can explain how this would be could be real in our world and not just a video game logic. So so from my perspective it was a disappointment to have all those things like the valor searchers and even more types of machines that didn't have a clear niche in the terraforming process and much more things around. On the other hand, there was a more focus on the actual roles of Gaia and the subsystems, and that I'm very happy that we got to spend more time with Gaia and the sub-functions and what they actually do and help out in healing the world, like the air, water and earth. Only wish that we would have even more of that. Yeah. Uh, so uh, so I watched a lot of people playing Zero Dawn, but not many of them actually commented on those aspects of the uh, terraforming system. So I wanted to, and not many people who played like I did, like being careful. So that's also why I wanted to do this, because I want to find people to talk about these topics, and I haven't managed to do that. So I'm hoping for you who find this interesting to like and comment, and comment on the things that you find interesting, and everything around that. So that has been my hope. I don't ask for comments and subscriptions and likes and everything else, but I really do this both because it's an opportunity for me to formulating my thinking about it, and actually to speaking in English. So that's not something that I'm doing as much. I'm reading and listening a lot, but not speaking. So it's been of exercise for me. But I also want to find more people to talk about these things. Because there are lots of people who like Horizon, and not many of them who actually care about all the science and technology in the way that I do, or that like to play the game carefully as I do. I mean, sometimes you can see people who do no damage rounds. That is playing the game and trying to not get hit at all, or not get below 100% health. So I try to not get hurt, but I'm not doing it as a challenge. I'm doing it because I'm like to play it immersive, or sort of how I would do it if this was real. So that means that uh, since I came back from the Burning Shores, and I ended my blind part of this Let's Play, I started watching some other people play, and they of course has other playstyles than I do. They don't put as much importance in not getting hurt, or not risking dying, even if they probably are better players, would win if in a multiplayer scenario. Uh, as far as I've seen, is that most of them died much more than me. I managed to survive most of it, even if I wanted to survive all of it. I failed in some circumstances, but comparing with other people who are playing at the hardest difficulty, uh, they like to just jump into battle, and I fully understand that it's would be more fun to just engage and jump around, and also it's much faster to do that. Okay, let's see where we are going. Right, okay, I might have gone in the wrong direction again, so I'll need to get past the Widemore site. So, but I do enjoy watching them for reactions and comments in other aspects. It's just that I also wanted to find people who commented more about the lore and the science and technology. But just to mention a few, I really, my probably favorite Let's Play is Martyr Violence, focusing on the story, reading all the text messages and lore and engaging in the story. And they have Christopher Odd, who's similar in that way. And then there are others who I like, especially for the Horizon gameplay, like Snaxar, and then we got Arctics and Acre. And they are very good at the game, but not as careful as I am. And maybe not as interesting in the actual lore and story. Well, I shouldn't say that. You also have what's a random side quest. Don't remember what his name, but he is super interesting in the lore, but it doesn't connect the lore to the real world science and technology, as in how would the terraforming system actually work if it was a real scenario, if this would happen for real. What are the state of the science and technology if you would try to do this for real? How would it work? So those are some of the things that I really would like to get into depth with, if, when, or if I would do a commentary of the Horizon Zero Dawn game. So this blind Let's Play of the Burning Shores is sort of me training for and eventually doing the actual commentary of Zero Dawn and go into more depth of everything there. Okay, we are here, and let's see what we can find. It's a bit dark here. I'm not sure exactly. Well, just reading everything we can find and see what's new. Sterling, Malket, East, ICITT, Enigma. Okay, I'm going to read it even if I'm not exactly sure if it's new or not. data corruption severe. All the makings of the next big thing, a much ballyhooed acquisition from an art historian turned technologist, no less. Bleeding edge science and great narrative to boot. The application was called YCITT after young Christ in the temple, a well-known Vermeer forgery. By creating perfect holographic scans of individual layers of a painting and comparing them to a vast library of artistic works, it was able to identify fakes with an unprecedented level of accuracy, but it was clear to Sterling executives that the program's ability to match and identify patterns has broad application outside of the art world. As a tool for security, counter-surveillance and digital authentication, it could prove just as revolutionary as it had in its intended role. Which is why they were willing to sign a 9-figure agreement for it, blasting news of the deal to every outlet in the tech media. 2 years later, the project collapsed in a chaotic jumble of lawsuits, recriminations, and accusations of sabotage. So what went wrong, who was responsible, and most importantly, what happened to the underlying technology, which by all means was far more powerful than the vaporware label applied by disgraced executives. Okay, so we knew about this by talking to Tilda, that she started out making systems that could detect forgeries, and that way then used it for counter surveillance and security, and that she made the real money using this, I think, for industrial espionage, by selling information to other interested parties and doing that underground. So this, by the description of the technology, it would be machine learning systems, neural network type stuff, but it's not described as such. It's described as another type of pattern matching technology. But it could be, or probably is, similar to that as a type of machine learning system. I mean, it is described because it's trained on the pattern from previous work. But it might be some new type of machine learning. Yeah. What did I do? I just want to get up to the next level here. Come on. And this is right, let's read this term. Retrospective, Rotterdam 2033. Data corruption severe. Cyber attack by far-right anti-migrant group Purity Action Europe reversed key instruction to the city's new storm surge barriers, rendering them fully open during a massive extratropical cyclone. The resulting flood cascaded through the city in a matter of minutes, effectively wiping it from the face of the earth. I was one of the lucky ones, recalled survivor Tilda van der Meer, who was 8 at the time of the attack. My family was wealthy. We had a watertight vault for some of our most precious belongings. My father locked me inside when he went to look for my mother, so I waited there in silence as the water rose, praying every moment that my parents would return. They never did. As horrible as it sounds, Tilda was lucky indeed. In addition to her parents, the flood killed more than 100,000 people, including approximately 40,000 climate refugees from. Yeah, so this is also something that we heard from Tilda, that she survived, and that was one of the things that she invoked to convince Aloy that she understood her situation and that she was similar to Aloy. But that's not exactly the same. It's losing their parents, but she was still rich and had lots of resources. Yeah. So 2033, and yes, this is also a description of one of the effects of the climate change in this world, where you got the big storms. Yeah. Let's see. I think should go down now. This was that one, yeah. And this one was that. I'm looking for something left by Sylens. So let's look here also.
Sylens must be searching through the Zenith base. Looks like he left some data behind.
This is one. Probing the graveyard. Data corruption minimal. I think we would actually say data corruption none. Because how you preserve data is you have redundancy in a way. That's the nature of binary data to begin with, that if you got the binary data is 0 or 1, but the biological or environment may have degraded, that some of the ones might be 0.98 or 0.96 or so on. And that means that if it's been degraded, a 0.98 would still be interpreted as a 1. So that means that a minimal degradation would actually be no degradation. It's not corrupted until you have a bit that is changed so much that it switches from closer to a 1 to closer to a 0. Then on top of that you have also error correction bits, and what's it called, you got checksum bits, and for example in hard drives or compact discs, and also other types of media, you usually have both checksum bits and sometimes also um, error correction bits. That means that you can have some bits being degraded. The checksum will make you able to verify that it hasn't been degraded at all, and the correction bits can be used to reconstruct the original data even if some of it has been corrupted. And in the case of hard drives and the compact discs, those encodings are also used as a way to make it easier to read, because since it's a spinning media, you want to not have too many zeros or ones in a row, so it's encoded so that it always go, so you always never have too many ones or too many zeros. That's a part of the encoding and also used as a checksum. Alright, so first entry. The island is deserted after the Zenith demise. Dead machines litter the battlefield while corpses of specters and their masters lay where they fell, re-enabling the base defenses. Okay, so he re-enabled them. Re-enabling the base defenses has kept the scavengers away, leaving the place all to myself, thus beginning my inquiry. Second entry. My analysis of a base printer matrix confirmed my suspicion. The structure self-destructed after the battle. A parting gift from Hephaestus most likely. Perhaps in time it could be repaired, its functionality restored. Obtaining the necessary materials for such a task will not be trivial, however. Okay, so that's about the printer matrix that could be used to produce machines, if it would still be working. So the subordinate functions itself has undoubtedly returned to the global coder network, where it will fortify its defense measure to prevent recapture. Even if Gaia secures a workaround for Hephaestus function from the Apollo database, the AI remains an unknown factor. Its brush with the Zenith technology may have evolved it in unforeseen waves, a problem from another day. Right, so it said that Hephaestus escaped to the Gaia network, as we talked about previously, and that it might have gained new capabilities and protected itself from recapture in a similar way as it was done in the what's it called, Gemini cauldron. The third entry. Further exploration of the base has yielded an alarming discovery. Records indicating that 13 Zeniths came to Earth, one more than has been accounted for. It appears his name is Walter Londra. From the logs, it seems our lone survivor went his own way shortly after their arrival. To that end, I can only theorize, but what is clear is that he will need to be found. Time then to send Aloy on her way. Fourth entry. The Odyssey awaits. This moment has been delayed by my decision to stay on Earth. And while it will only be an initial exertion, it has indeed been a long time coming. My preparations are nearly complete. Fortunately, the base shuttle was mostly unaffected by the destruction from the battle. Piloting it and docking it to the Odyssey should be a rather straightforward task. Prior to their demise, the Zenith were ferrying materials up to the ship on a regular basis, an almost entirely automated process as it turns out. Right, so the Odyssey is the spaceship that's still in orbit, waiting above Earth, and then you have a space shuttle that can travel from the Zenith base and to the Odyssey. So it sounds like he has been up to the Odyssey and explored it. That should also mean that he would have all the thing he should have everything he needed for print the matrix, except maybe for the materials for it. If he get up to the Odyssey. The true endeavor will begin once I'm aboard the ship. Despite all their navel-gazing, the Zenith may have been astute enough to have left some hidden surprises for uninvited guests. I'll need to find a way to disable the automatic defenses and neutralize potential booby traps. Only then might I claim my prize, the Apollo database. Oh, so he hasn't done it yet, okay. Securing the database will be yet another test of my skills, the most significant yet. The Zenith placed substantial safeguards on it, then using it to train Beta, reducing and restricting access to large swaths of its archive, while she was never able to override those controls. All is not lost. Gaia could be of use here, courtesy of Minerva code-breaking capabilities. Yeah. So, was Minerva incorporated? I think it was. Huh. That, however, still leaves me to contend with the possibility that the database may not be fully intact, whether as a consequence of the Zenith neglect over the last 1,000 years, because it was damaged in the turbulent escape from Sirius. Parts of that database may have been forever lost. Time will tell. What's certain is that this momentous undertaking will require cunning and finesse, and if needed, a little auxiliary support. Alright, so it's not yet found the Apollo database, and the Zenith version of Apollo was still not the final product from the Zero Dawn project. It was a, I think, alpha or beta version of it. But then they would also have lots of data of their own. So in addition of the Apollo database or added to it, we would have 1,000 years of research, or maybe not research, but anyway, additional discoveries. And it also might be that Sylens may still decide to leave Earth. We have to see. Right, so this data point was left hovering in the air. Why is it just lying there in thin air? I thought it would be on a table or on the ground or something. So this table has been I mean, last time we was here the table was in much better condition. Also the chairs, but the actual tray is as pristine as last time, and the tableware where still looking good. Is that a gold spoon? Tilda was not content with silver spoons. I think we found what we were looking for. So now I would continue to visit Alva and see how it goes with communication for rejoining the tribes, the Quen tribes. Huh. New machines here. Last time there were behemoths.
Acid will eat right through
Oh,
that
so
metal.
that's an apex. I was just about to override it. So this one is normal, and that's an apex. Okay. I'm really interested in com computer, how you would store information and make possible learning, like education, only by computers, like you had the point of Apollo is how you can store human knowledge in a way that people could learn from it. And I think that it you could replace the traditional school systems much more than oh, much replace the traditional school system with the teachers and the classes. Um, there's many things you can talk about that on that point. Is because you should have more of a problem-based learning, that you have projects and working in groups is solving actual problems, and then you got the system like Apollo for access to knowledge like Wikipedia, and combine that with the tutors. So for example, something like the large language model of GPT-4 or something, together with artificial intelligence, like in Khan Academy, having a tutor for helping to understand and learn and use the knowledge for specific purposes, and by that learning more about how to do things. Okay, so we're done for now anyway. I save here and we'll continue in the next episode. Bye for now.